All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another WNBA playoff video. This will be the last WNBA playoff video because the next one, I think, will be a WNBA finals video. We have the final matchup set, the Phoenix Mercury versus the Las Vegas Aces. I'm going to talk about that matchup a little bit later in the video. We're going to talk about how the Aces managed to get out of this fever series. And we have a bunch of other topics that we need to touch on because I think they're really important and they all happen before the game. So we're going to go through some of these in order of what happened. A lot of league moving, league drama stuff. Um, First and foremost, you have the Dallas Wings firing their head coach. You have Nafisa Collier versus WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and the WNBA itself. And we have a couple injuries to talk about, some clarifications on some injuries that happened in this game. So if you like what I've said, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So the first thing I want to talk about very quickly, because it's probably gonna be one of the first ones, the quickest one to talk about, is the where did I put the tab? There it is. The Dallas Wings firing their head coach, Chris Koklanis. Not a fan favorite by any means. I think very hated. One of the most hated coaches by the fan base. And I don't want to say by the players, but the players never really. I don't think he he never drew their attention. He was never like um, somebody who got the attention of the players and really had the locker room in control. I think there were a couple players that actually like viscerally didn't like him. Dejanay Carrington being one of them. Paige Beckers at times being one of them. Not openly saying she disliked Chris, but um, really just not paying attention sometimes and really just looking at him, side eyeing him, and it's all this stuff. Um, who do I think should be the Dallas Wings' next head coach? It's a great question. It's a simple answer, but the resolution won't be as simple. I think the simple answer is to go get Sandy Brondello, freshly fired from the New York Liberty, has a long coaching history, um, is a great culture builder, is a great leader, um, coached the prototypical or the blueprint for guards like Paige Beckers in Diana Taurasi. There's a bit of a connection there. Um, the big question becomes, does she want to coach the Dallas Wings? Coming off a championship team, a finals level team in the New York Liberty, does she want to roll it back a little bit, really coach up this team year in and year out for the next, what would be like 5 years, 6 years before they actually make a finals, sort of deal? Um, or actually, I shouldn't say make a finals, win a finals. They could probably get to the finals. If this playoff run has shown anything, it's that any team can make it at least to the semis. That being said, though, um, that would be my pick. If you can't get Sandy, I would just go get somebody fresh. Go get somebody new. Go get somebody. Don't recycle the same old names. Um, I think grabbing an assistant coach would be really good as well to be a head coach, grow with this team because you're not going anywhere quick. You're not going anywhere fast. You're gonna get the number one pick or number two pick in this year's draft. You have Paige Beckers. You have Lee Yuru. You have um, a tradable asset in Agumbawale. I'm trying to think of the other things they have on this team. You have a nice, decent young core. Some of those pieces are going to have to be moved around in the future, but for now, you have to focus on nurturing them and building them. And I think if you get Sandy or you get a rookie head coach again, that isn't Chris. Chris was a rookie head coach as well. Somebody who the players actually respect and is known throughout the league, I think would be a good move. That would be my 2 cents on the Dallas situation. And yeah, let's move on to some of this. It's the Fisa Collier versus the WNBA. How do whenever I talk about this stuff, it's always like hard for me because I have such a staunch opinion on some of this stuff, and I want to say this uh, just off the top here. I am pro player empowerment. I don't want this to come off like I'm not pro player empowerment. I think the trouble with player empowerment is that sometimes you give them too long of a leash and they mess it up themselves. And if you let somebody do what they love and run what they love, it becomes a dangerous line to walk in the sense of like, well, I love playing this game. I don't know the business of the game too much, but I know what's right for the players, right? It's right for the players. You have to, as somebody in that position of power, whether it be a commissioner or a president or whatever of a sporting group or a team, you have to come to these conclusions of what's best for the players, what's best for the owners, what's best for the coaches, what's best for all these other people involved, right? And what I'm alluding to here is MVP runner up, Olympic gold medalist, All Star, um, links forward slash center, I guess. Nafisa Collier, fresh off a kick in the butt by the Mercury, sitting at home. She had to do her exit press conference as the players usually do at the end of the season, whenever their season ends. She used the time to come out and say a couple things about WNBA, about Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner, and all that stuff. And the CBA, as we've been talking about all year, has been looming for the league. It's been looming. It doesn't look like it's going to get done. There were rumors a couple weeks ago that it was going to get done. It's going to get done. It's going to get done very late, though, like very, very late. They're going to have to put an extension on it to, to iron out the details, and then they would get it done. After Nafisa Collier did all this in the statement and the whole interview, if you want to watch the whole interview, I'll link it in the comments or something. Well, like the whole press conference, I should say. Um, I'm just gonna read some snippets from it. And yeah. So the big one of the big ones was this was a whole 4 minute statement that Nafisa Collier read. One of the first things she said was about the WNBA's officiating and the league office's lack of accountability. And I think this is something we can all agree on as sports fans and as fans of basketball. Basketball has degenerated um, into, and this is a little bit different from the WNBA, but I'm going to circle back to it, I promise. Um, as Basketball is really hard to referee. It's one of the harder sports to referee. Um, and it can be personal at times for the refs. We all know refs have agendas at times. Refs have players they don't like. And the important thing is to not let that interfere with your refereeing. And and the thing is, refs don't like to be wrong. Good ones, great ones, admit they're wrong. They'll admit they're wrong. Like, hey, we messed that up. Um, my bad, our bad. Whatever. Some refs don't want to admit they're wrong, and this is the great thing about the coaches challenge that has been instituted in the WNBA and in the NBA is that coaches can challenge bullshit calls, and the refs get exposed. Um, Throughout this course of this playoff run, though, this playoff um, part of the WNBA season, the refs have been particularly bad, letting things go sometimes, letting players be too physical other times, players getting injured, Nafisa Collier getting injured on what was questionably a foul on Alyssa Thomas at the end of their final game. Um, I don't think it was a foul. I think it was just bad luck. Um, but I also think that there is sort of a there is sort of a how do I say this? Um, Too many things building up at once. The refereeing being bad, the CBA not being done, players getting injured at a crazy rate, which has no correlation to the amount of days of rest. It has been scientifically proven that the amount of days of rest don't coincide with less injuries. That's neither here nor there. I've said that a million times. Um, but it's all these things compounding, and I can understand where Nafisa Collier and other players that backed her up after she made this statement get off on. And they're like, well, one, you're not protecting us. Two, the refereeing so inconsistent. The fine. I forgot to mention the fines. The fines have been crazy this year for just players speaking their mind and saying things. Um, Fines have been crazy, um, and it's a lot of things compounding. And I'm gonna read more of her quotes here, but I think this is the boiling point. I think a lot of people like I don't like to deem things as like overblow things like clickbait, you guys, and be like, she changed the league. She's made a huge statement. Like, I don't like that bullshit. She made a statement. It's cool. Like, players are gonna rally around. It's a rallying point, um, especially during the CBA negotiation. But um, I don't think it's league changing. I don't think it's league altering. I think that Visa College wanted to make this statement because she's a good person. She's been in the league a while. We'll talk about what else she does in her off seasons and why I think she's sort of not the right person to deliver this message, but is the right person at the same time. Um, Another quote she has here, is um, when talking about the WNBA, the best fans in the world, the best players in the world, but the worst leadership in the world. Um, I agree. Uh, as long as I've been a WNBA fan, I've been a WNBA fan a long time. Long, 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 long time. I've been a fan a lot longer than a lot of you people have. Not to toot my own horn, but the WNBA has always been notorious for bad leadership. I feel like they have a new commissioner every 3 years, every 4 years. Like no commissioner has like a David Stern NBA tenure. No commissioner has an Adam Silver tenure with the NBA. I think a lot of these other sports commissioners and whatever have been in their position a long time as well, at least 4 or 5 years at this point. WNBA is one of those leagues where they really can't get it right. Um, Speaking of the leadership, Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner, as of this moment, we'll see what happens in a couple months, um, is not a basketball person, even though she played basketball at some level, I believe, in college. Um, she's a business person. She is a finance person. She was brought in to help finance the league essentially as the commissioner, but also try to gain some good faith and camaraderie with the players. She hasn't done the latter. Um, she hasn't the former of the latter, whichever one it is. She hasn't been a player favorite, and sometimes not even a fan favorite. um, I think Kathy Engelbert has done a fine job in the back part of the league in the sense of the revenue, the money, the finances, the TV deals, all that stuff. But she's done a terrible job trying to get the players to buy into this stuff. And I think part of it lies in the fact that I don't think Kathy Engelbert or anybody in the WNBA thought it would be this big, this quick after the Caitlin Clark draft and the Angel Reese and the Cam Brinks and all that whole draft class essentially. Nobody thought it'd be this big, this quick. They thought maybe it'd take a couple years. Maybe the WNBA thought, we can lowball them again, and then we'll get it done next time when we actually have the foundation and the money. And we've been going for almost a decade now with a good league. That's what they thought, I think. Um, and I think it's all come to a boiling point where a lot of factors have just led up to this, where you maybe could have gotten this CBA done last year and you didn't, and now you're here in this situation. Um, One of her longer quotes here is one of her longer quotes here. I'm going to read it verbatim. And I quote, I also asked how Kathy Engelbert planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league. I don't know about Paige Beckers and Angel Reese, maybe personal brands. I don't see nobody filling out stadiums, filling out arenas for Paige Beckers or Angel Reese. The only person who does that is Caitlin Clark. Just for the just I'm stating facts. I'm stating facts. Paige Beckers and Angel Reese do have a huge following into themselves. You know, you can be a popular player off the court. You can be a popular player as a player, but they don't like they don't like the team. They don't like the WNBA enough. They just like you. You know, that's a more modern thing. Is younger fans liking players, not teams, not the league. They just like players and they ride for the players so hard. Anyway, that's a tangent. I'm sorry. And I continue the quote here. And it says, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league. are making so little for their first 4 years. Continuing the quote here, Kathy's response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes 16 million off the court because without the platform the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. End quote. So I assume this is a conversation Kathy Engelbert and Nafisa Kali had in I don't want to say private, but in confidence. They were having a conversation, and Nafisa Kali chose to um, uh, do the laundry, put out the dirty clothes. Um, to talk about this more specifically, this quote. Um, this is probably the damning quote that's going to cost Kathy Engelbert her job. Just full clarity on this, full stop on that. This is probably the quote. This is probably the thing that gets her out of there. I mean, we'll talk about that later. Um, Again, my tangent of Paige Becker's Angel Reese drawing revenue for the league, sure, yeah, jersey sales, sure. I think their individual brands are more powerful than their commodity value in the sense of them bringing people to arenas. Caitlin Clark is the only person that brings people to arenas. Their slogan this year, the Fever slogan was "Every game's a home game." It's true because they're the Indiana Fever are essentially like the Boston Celtics of WNBA in the sense of like they just have fans everywhere, like for no apparent reason. From people not from Boston, from people like, there was a time on the East Coast where Boston was the only good thing going on. Like it was Boston, it was the Rangers, it was um, the Giants maybe for a time. Yeah, like the East Coast, like Philly was bad at sports. They had a couple good years in there. My point being is that like people gravitate towards the Indiana Fever because one, they're a small market team. Boston at a time was not a big market, but a smaller market. Um, and people love those kind of players. Dirty work, blue collar players. Not saying Caitlin Clark's blue collar or whatever, but you know, the vibe of the team is what I'm getting at. So I think in this tangent that I'm going on is the fact that um, Kathy Engelbert saying that Caitlin Clark wouldn't have the platform she has if it wasn't for the WNBA is completely false, and people have gone online and debunked it as soon as this quote came out. Um, the things about the thing about Caitlin is that she is something that you've never seen in the WNBA before. She's an anomaly. I don't think it's ever going to happen again. I don't. I think players like that are coming in now are in such a weird spot because of everything feels so um, cookie cutter and so um, you're coming after this player. Like when Michael Jordan was in the league in the NBA, people was looking for the next Michael Jordan. It never freaking happened. It only happened once, and it wasn't even the exact same copy. It was Kobe Bryant. That was the only other copy of MJ that actually worked out. There have been since LeBron came in the league, and since it's been looking like he's going to retire over the last 5 years, and he still hasn't retired. People are like, oh, he's the next LeBron. It hasn't happened. There hasn't been the next LeBron. There won't be another Caitlin Clark. I guarantee it. Those things happen in moments. You can only encapsulate them in moments, and in that time period, that can never happen again. Um, I think Kathy Engelbert saying these things is a bit redundant, considering that as somebody who's watched the league for a long time, very long time, nobody gave a I don't want to curse. No, nobody cared about the WNBA. Nobody freaking cared. Nobody cared. And then once Caitlin Clark got drafted, once it looked like she was going to get drafted, period, there were so many fans. So many fans. I think people like Nafisa Collier and other people in those circles in the places that she know, Caitlin Clark's the golden goose. She makes the world go round. She makes this whole WNBA thing go. When she doesn't play, the league isn't as there aren't as many fans. Let's be honest, right? Again, this is the problem of the modern fan is that they're fans of players. They're not fans of the team. I think that's the other anomaly is that Caitlin Clark has converted a lot of Caitlin Clark fans to Fever fans. So there's that, but other people don't have that draw, don't have that thing to turn them into. Angel Reese isn't turning people into Chicago Sky fans. I'm sorry, she's just not. Paige Beckers isn't turning people into Dallas Wings fans. They are fans of Paige Beckers because Paige Beckers went to UConn. They are fans of Angel Reese because she's basically what the WNBA wants when they look at a player is like a very talented um, girl, good school, went to LSU, won a national championship. She's basically the prototypical WNBA player. I'm going on a whole tangent here, but my point in being, this is something that you look at and you say, "Man, she really just said all this shit," and she wasn't wrong. She wasn't wrong. I had a thought when I was like, she probably had this all written out for when they won the finals, and then they lost in the in the second round, and she had to pull it out anyways. Like, you know what? I'm gonna say it anyway, and she said nothing wrong. Nafisa Collier said nothing wrong. Now, to quickly switch gears real quick. It was reported after today, this morning, and it was reported last night as well. After this all happened yesterday, by the way, all these statements and everything. Um, that Kathy Engelbert will probably be out as the WNBA commissioner after they finish the CBA negotiations, which is fine. I think that's the smart thing to do. If you fire her now, you get rid of her now. It becomes a whole mess of like other groups coming in, like a group of lawyers, group of financial advisors, whole group, and it becomes a whole mess of what people think is best for the WNBA. I don't think Kathy knows what's best for the WNBA, but at least she has her fingerprints on the league and she knows what she's doing a little bit. Versus you bring out like two outside groups that don't know what the hell they're doing. They just think about themselves and the legality of it and the finances of it. It doesn't spell for a good time. But to keep her on for now and then maybe probably probably in what would it be next spring, next summer, she'll probably be out. The other thing I just want to note in here is that Nafisa Collier does run a off-season league. It's called Unrivaled. I made a couple videos about it, um, and I think it's a conflict of interest to be for Nafisa Collier to be the the face of this. Some fans have called it a revolution. I won't go that far as a revolution. It's a conflict of interest because if the WNBA doesn't happen and there's some stoppage, some work stoppage, some lockout. It benefits Nafisa Kali. It benefits Brianna Stewart, who both partake and own and created Unrivaled. And Unrivaled has had a lot of. I want to talk about. I want to talk about Unrivaled in a future video, but um, it's become well. It, Unrivaled would benefit and become more popular because the WNBA isn't happening. They probably do something, this and that, probably make have it so the players can play and stay in shape and this and that. But I do firmly believe it is a conflict of interest for Nafisa Kali to be the face, to be the martyr of this, um, or try to be the martyr of this movement of the players deserve everything. The WNBA is wrong. Everything's wrong with the WNBA. It's all the WNBA's fault. I just want to take a second to say that when player empowerment went too far in the NBA, this past collective bargaining agreement, we ended up with the first apron, second apron, and these stupid contracts where there's no middle class for the NBA anymore, and it's either you get paid the minimum or you get paid the maximum, or close to the max, or just under the max, so you can avoid the second apron or first apron. That was the whole players' idea. The players signed off on that. So I firmly believe that some of these players have no idea what the hell they're talking about. I have a firm belief. You're trying to convince me, and I'm just talking about the NBA. This is a whole different tangent. You're telling me that CJ McCollum was equipped enough to be the president of the Players Association, having no background in being in anything besides being, I think maybe he was the treasurer, the secretary, the in the in that spot before. But you're trying to tell me CJ McCollum, a lifelong basketball player, I'm not trying to insult him. I don't know if he has a degree or anything and whatever, but you're telling me he knows what's best for the league? Please, please, no, come on, please, please. And you know what? Everybody hates CJ McCollum because he did that, because he signed off on it. The whole Players Association got gutted this past rotation because of that mess up that they did. What was that? 3, 2, 4 years ago. It's terrible. So I'm not trying to insinuate that if he's Sakali or anybody in the WNBA doesn't know what they're doing. But trust me, when I know I've seen bad collective bargaining agreements, I've seen bad ones. I don't want it to be bad for the WNBA. I want it to all work out. I want it to be sunshine and rainbows and everything. But it simply does not turn out like that sometimes. Um, anything else here? Um, let me see what I got. Let me see what I got. If I got anything. lingering here that I want to talk about. The players backed her, obviously, Nafisa Collier, um, and all that stuff. So, I think. Oh, wait. I'm glad I scrolled down. Wait. Okay. Wait. So this was Kathy Engelbert's response, released by the WNBA commissioner. Blah blah blah. Okay, here's her response. Right, Kathy Engelbert, WNBA commissioner, New York, September 30th, 2025. Um, issued the following statement on the Minnesota Lynx Nafisa Collier's comments, and I quote: "I have the utmost respect for Nafisa Collier and for all the players in the WNBA. Together, we have worked tirelessly to transform the league. My focus remains on ensuring a bright future for the players and the WNBA, including collaborating on how we can continue to elevate the game. I am disheartened by how Nafisa Collier characterized our conversation and league leadership. Um, but even when our perspectives differ, my commitment to the players and to this work will not waver." End quote. Pretty standard response. I don't expect Kathy to come out and be like, "Screw Nafisa Kali, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She can't do that." Even though I think both parties want to do that and be like, I freaking hate this person. Um, I think Kathy's heart is in the right place. And I've said this on other platforms as well, where I think Kathy is just, she was equipped for a certain job and the job description changed like in a year and a half and she's just not equipped anymore. Like the level went up. And I think that's the predicament she's in. And I think she's trying to do her best. I have my disagreements with NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, who's ruining the league I love. I think I can resonate with WNBA fans in the sense of that Kathy Engelbert is ruining the league they love in those words, and that's pretty much it. On to more fun stuff. We are about 27 minutes in. We're gonna talk about the game. I promise. We're gonna talk about the game. Don't worry. So I want to save this for last because I'm just so happy. The Las Vegas Aces are going back to the finals. They beat the Indiana Fever 107 to the Indiana Fever's 89. It was a crazy game. I was so locked in on this game. It started at 9:30, which was crazy, and the game ended at 1 o'clock in the morning, which I always hate. I do have notes for this game. Um, I do have notes. So yeah, um, let's run through the notes, and then I'll go through some other stuff here as we go through it. This is game five. Winner go home. Winner goes to the WNBA finals. My first note is that Jewel Lloyd um, got it going early. Got in early. Pardon me. She got in the game early. I think maybe like it was 4 minutes, 6 minutes left on the clock. 4 minutes. Yeah. So yeah, 6 minutes left on the clock. She got in the game early. I don't think she did anything really, but she was in the game. She'll do something later. Um, my other note was the note there was a time where there were no Asia Wilson. There was no Asia Wilson on the floor. She was not in the game, and they were just okay. They were okay enough to stay afloat, and it was a good sign. But I didn't love it. I would like Asia to play at least 40 minutes, 46 minutes a game, 44 minutes a game. I mean, because man, do you need all those minutes with Asia Wilson? It was really a back and forth battle of Stephanie White, the Fever head coach, and Becky Hammond, the Aces head coach, going back and forth trying to check Aaliyah Boston in bottom left of your screen, trying to check Asia Wilson bottom right of your screen. Um, Back and forth, just okay. Asia's in, we got to get Aaliyah in. Asia's in. This, that, and the third. It was a good battle. It was a great battle, and this was a really good coaching game too for both coaches. They were going back and forth, coaching wise. Um, the Fever were getting into their sets so early, like annoyingly quickly. Like, like the Aces would have like three people back on defense, and it felt like the Fever just had all five, and they would just swing the ball around, or they would get it into the cutter, or they would get them off the confusion of like, oh, where's the white jersey? Where's the white jersey? Like, it was so annoying, and they did that the whole playoff run the Fever did, and they did it so well this last game they played because they knew it was do or die, and they was like, just put it all on the line. And as I was watching this game, I was thinking, man, The Fever have nothing to lose. Like, oh, if we win, we go to the finals. Great. If we lose, it's great. The Aces, if they lose to the Fever, it looks bad. People were clowning on the Dream for losing to the Fever. People were really mad that the Atlanta Dream lost to this Fever team because they have don't have their benches in street clothes. Like, I would be infuriated too if I was an Aces fan and we lost to this team. I was infuriated watching this game because I was like, we cannot lose to this team. Come on, guys. Come on. But yeah, they did a really good job getting their sets quickly. Lots of paint penetration from Shea Petty, from um, Kelsey Mitchell. Really great presence from Aaliyah Boston. I want to take a second here to talk about my girl, Aaliyah Boston. Man, oh man, the growth that I saw in this playoff run was so freaking huge for Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston could not score last series because she was dealing with Brittany Griner, she was dealing with Brianna Turner, um, and it was so hard for her. And in this series, she was going at the four-time MVP Asia Wilson. She was going at the four-time MVP, two-time Defensive Player of the Year, and she was making it look easy at times. And I was just so proud of her. I thought she was gonna have a big defensive leap this year in my preseason videos, but man, did she take an offensive leap or what? It was nuts. I am so proud of her. Number 7, Aaliyah Boston. Love that girl, man. Great, great, great player. Um, in the third, this is after halftime. I think if I can look at it right, yeah, the Aces were leading by like 1 or 2, I believe. Yeah. Um, third, the Aces finally started playing fast. They started playing fast, and they were getting their sets, getting their motions, getting everything going. And then just as the game really started getting going for them, they felt like they were going to break away a little bit. They were right there. They were just going to break away. They were going to punch through finally. Chelsea Gray gets her foot stepped on. Um, in a in what it looked painful because if you've ever been walking, just like imagine you're walking right in a tight crowded space and somebody like steps on the back of your shoe and you go whoa, like that's what it was, but on like 100. And Chelsea Gray was trying to use a screen from Asia Wilson. I believe it was Shea Petty behind Chelsea Gray. um, she accidentally stepped on her foot and like the back of her heel, and like she went down and looked, there was a lot of pain. She went back in the locker room. It didn't look like she was going to return, and then she eventually returned. But in those minutes, it looked really bad for the Aces. There were times where they looked okay, um, but it really didn't start coming together till Asia started going for it, and you could tell Asia was ready for this moment. Every basketball player will tell you, they prepare for these moments. Um, she went for it. She was going for it. Aaliyah Boston already had 4 or 5 fouls at this time. She was in foul trouble. They had who was it? They had some nobody on her. Brianna Turner. Not to be confused with Brianna Turner of the Atlanta Dream. This is Brianna Turner of the Fever, who did some good minutes on Asia Wilson, but Asia Wilson was just too much at times, getting some fouls called. Really good stuff for Asia, and then it started falling apart. And I've said it in my other videos when I was talking about this series. The Aces, or anybody who played the Fever, actually, you needed to be at least up by 10. Couldn't be up by 6. Couldn't be up by 8. It had to be at least 10. Because if it was in 6, that's only 2 threes for the Fever, and then they're back in it. And it was very infuriating to watch the end of this game. It did go to overtime because the Fever just wouldn't give up. I want to rewind a little bit. In the course of Asia Wilson going for it, um, we saw something very, I'll say scary, but I wasn't scared because I knew it didn't look like anything really crazy. There was some how do I want to say this? Kelsey Mitchell, when Asia Wilson was going through the end of this game, trying to win them the game, um, she went down. Well, Kelsey Mitchell, Fever guard, was rubbing her knee, and it looked like she was in a little bit of pain. She was grimacing a little bit, but it was nothing, right? Didn't get checked out or anything, like checked out of the game or anything. She was playing, right? And then they were on offense. She had the ball. She was going for it. Um, Tries to go baseline, dishes the ball off. I don't know if it was a turnover. The person she dished it to missed the shot, but she she it looked like she like maybe like tweaked something in her knee or something, and then she she was like the ref was right next to her, and she like grabbed the ref. She's like, whoa, whoa, whoa! Like she's like having like a thing happen, like an affliction, right? And the ref kind of was like, "Whoa, are you okay?" And then Kelsey Mitchell just starts like sinking down into the floor. You know, like her legs start like going out from under, and the ref has to put her down. It was a very scary sight, actually. Um, she was on the floor for like a real like time, like 10 minutes, maybe like 8 10 minutes, which was crazy. Um, and then they had the stretcher come out. She didn't want the stretcher. She walked out with some help. Um, it was later revealed that she had some cramping, and then it was later revealed today that she had some super cramps, like mega cramps. I have the thing here. Pardon me. Hold on. Here we go. And I have a statement from Kelsey Mitchell as well now because I had to look it up again. So it was revealed that Kelsey had extreme cramping in her lower body during the end of the third quarter, um, and she was transported to a local hospital where she was treated and released Tuesday night. She will remain under supervision of the Fever medical staff. And then, as I just opened this, looking for that quote, I saw uh, a tweet from Kelsey Mitchell. It looks like she's in good spirits. I just read some of it. Um, she said, and I quote: I suffered something called ra- ra- rafimum. I'm not even. It's. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna link it down below. I can't read that, bro. These medical words get me. Um, Rahimi O Talis? Jeez, I cannot say that. Last night. In short, where my muscles stopped working and reached its maximum capacity, I went into a state of numbness and paralyzing feeling with no movement in my lower extremities for up to 5 to 7 seconds because of the muscle stops producing positive blood in my bloodstream, body locked up from a physical standpoint. From there, fatigue and cramping settled in. It sucked. I panicked. I began to think the worst. I felt like I couldn't move my legs. But it was an out of body experience for me, and thank God for covering me at a time like this. So today, on October 1st, I am walking at a slow pace and will be fine very soon. And she thanks everybody, medical team, Fever medical team, Vegas medical team, people at the hospital, every other word. And she said in the last part of the statement, I played till my wheels fell off, laughing my ass off. Laughing emoji. So in great spirits. Kelsey Mitchell's in great spirits. Anyways, when I saw Kelsey Mitchell get injured, I was like, yo, we cannot. Well, one, we can't lose this game. The Aces can't lose this game. But two, I don't want to win like this because Kelsey Mitchell was playing her butt off this whole series. But me saying that, I think the Fever felt the same way in the sense of like, we have to do this for Kelsey. And they almost did. They had a really, really good fourth quarter, end of the third, beginning of the fourth, late in the fourth, and they almost ran away with it. Before we get to the overtime here, because it did not end in regulation, it ended in overtime. I want to run through some of these numbers real quick for you guys. Um, Geez, I have the hiccups now. Excuse me. Asia Wilson, 35 points, five assists, 8 rebounds, 4 blocks, 4 steals, only 2 personal fouls, 1 turnover, 41 minutes. Made a three, which is really good. 13 for 27. The other player with 30 points, Jackie Young, J.O., had a great game. One of her better games. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, this might be a game where she looks back on and be like, oh my God, this was a really turning point game for my career. Because she looked like she was ready to be the guard on this team. 32 points, 10 assists, 4 of 11 from 3, 10 of 20, played 44 minutes. 5 personal fouls, not great, but no turnovers, which is even better. The Aces really didn't get much help in in moments throughout the course of the game, but coming down to close the game, Chelsea Gray had a great game. Overall, 17 points, 2 blocks, 3 steals, 6 assists, 2 rebounds. Um, Megan Gustafson hit a three, which was big. It was a big moment. She had some good defensive minutes as well. Jewel Lloyd, great minutes as well, 8 points, not too much, but just enough. Just she had a couple really good shots in overtime, which was really good. Dana Evans, 5 points, 1 of 4 from three. Not the best, but she was serviceable enough when Chelsea Gray went down with her suspected injury that you're like, okay, I feel confident in Dana Evans a little bit. Coming into the Fever here, um, a really win or go home game. This is what I think of when a team with a lower seed with less talent is like, we don't want to go home. We want to play one more series. Um, Natasha Howard, 16 points, 5 assists, 7 rebounds. Aaliyah Boston, 11 points, 16 rebounds, fouled out, unfortunately, 5 of 12. Odyssey Sims, when Kelsey Mitchell went down, 27 points. I was unfamiliar with Odyssey Sims. I've known of Odyssey Sims. I knew she was on a couple of the WNBA teams. I knew she's been around a while. I knew when the Aces picked her up, she'd be a good match for them. I didn't know how much she played, but she started this game and she played her heart out this game. 27 points, 6 assists, 5 turnovers, five personal fouls. Not great, but it was in overtime. She did most of her work in overtime and in the end of the fourth, so she really didn't need to worry about foul trouble or turning over the ball. It was what it was. Kelsey Mitchell, 15, only played 23 minutes, and Lexi Cole, 12 points. Not a great night for her, even though she had a great playoff run. And Shea Petty, 13 points. Um, no turnovers, 3 of 5 from three. Hit some big shots for them down the stretch. Um, what what happened in overtime? It finally felt like the Fever ran out of magic and they ran out of the power of friendship. Because the Aces just had that much more talent. And I was thinking after the game, as I was going to bed, I was like, if the Fever had one of their really good players, like not even Caitlin Clark, I'm talking like Sophie Cunningham, Chloe Bibby, even Ari McDonald, um, any of those guys, any of those women, they might have won this game, but they didn't. The Aces just had more talent. This is why you have that veteran talent in Jewel Lloyd. This is why you have Chelsea Gray, even though I bag on Chelsea Gray and Jewel Lloyd a lot this season, even Jackie Young as well. Um, this is why you have these players because they just a shot or two or three makes all the difference in these overtime playoff games, and um, they did the job. I didn't even feel comfortable till the Fever had to take their first foul to send the Fever to the free throw line, and I think it was Jackie. Yeah, Jackie took the first pair, um, and made both, and it was like I think it was like an 8 point lead, and I was like, oh, finally I can breathe, finally, because this Fever team did so much this year. The end of the game was very anticlimactic. It was a lot of hero ball from the suspected suspects on the Indiana Fever. Aaliyah Boston not playing overtime. She fouled out. It was Natasha Howard. It was Odyssey Sims. It was Shea Petty a little bit. But you just couldn't beat Jackie Young and Asia Wilson last night. They were great. Um, and again, Jewel Lloyd hit some big shots in overtime. And yeah, that was it. And the Aces move on to the finals. Um, I just want to say, as an Aces fan, I did not expect this. This is a great outcome. I don't even care if we win the finals. I just an appearance is enough for me. Just after the roller coaster of this year, a finals appearance is enough for me. Um, for the Fever, because we have to talk about the losers too. What's next for the Fever? Man, oh man. The biggest thing and the most obvious thing: health. You need to stay healthy. You need to stay healthy. If I go to their um, roster here, they have a long list of has a long list of players. I think it's a record for the most players ever played for a team in a WNBA season. Um, they just need to be healthy, man. I love this team. This team, obviously, you're gonna have some not room to. You're gonna have some close calls. The amount of roster spots you have doesn't coincide with the amount of players you like and the amount of guards and wings and centers you need. But players I do like on this team. I like what Chloe Bibby brought. I don't think she's a must bring back though if you don't have to. Obviously, my girl Leah Boston, Caitlin Clark, the big names you really want healthy and really want to stay out of foul trouble in Leah Boston's case. Sophie Cunningham, if she can't put together a healthy season next season, I think it's time to move on. Desmiras Dantas, really good. Natasha Howard, Ari McDonald, Lexi Hall, Kelsey Mitchell. Those are the big ones. So what's that? That's one, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's like seven, eight. Like that's 8 players. Um, and you need to stay healthy and you need to keep this core together. I think the best thing that could have happened. You lost in the semifinals. You got so close. You're going to be hungry for next year. Coach Stephanie White got some real coaching minutes under her belt with this roster and with a different, just throwing different combinations out there was really good. And yeah, just health, man, health. I don't think they have a draft pick this year, so they're just going to be going through the free agency and trying to get more people, trying to retain people as well. Um, I expect Caitlin Clark to come back with a vengeance next year, trying to put together a healthy, more complete season. Aaliyah Boston has proven she is a number one and at worst a number two. Um, Lexi Hall, great minutes as well. Really came into her own. I don't think she's a full time starter, but she's definitely a pinch starter now. Like her and Caitlin in the backcourt is going to be an issue next year. And yeah, that's it. And that's the last we'll talk about the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark, at least for now. Shout out to this team, man. I hated them during this series. I love so many players on this team. They're a great team. Great bunch of girls. And yeah, that's it. That we're in the finals, man. Next WNBA video will be the finals. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. I hope you guys are happy and excited too. It's gonna be Aces versus Mercury on We can look at the schedule. I think it's Friday. I might be Thursday. No, it's Friday. Yep, Friday at 8 p.m. sharp. So be there at B Square, available on ABC and ESPN and all that stuff. Tell me who you think is going to win, Aces or Mercury, down below. Tell me your favorite moment from the playoffs already. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you for staying this long in this longer video, and I will see you all next time. Cheers.